Hey guys, so the BookTubeAthon is officially over, so I thought it was time for me to film my BookTubeAthon wrap-up. If by chance you do not know what the BookTubeAthon is, it is a 7-day readathon that went on from Monday, the 14th of July, until last night at midnight on July 20th. The BookTubeAthon was created by Ariel from Ariel Bassett, and this year she hosted alongside Raylene from Padfoot and Prongs 07, Jessie from Jessie the Reader, Katrina from Little Book Owl, Kat from Kitty-tastic, and Christine from Poem Banana Books. So thank you guys for that. It was a blast. So I'm going to talk about what I read now. Actually, side note, I did not load a TBR video or any update videos throughout the week for a number of reasons. One being I didn't decide to even do the readathon until a couple hours before it started where I live. Two, I really didn't think I would continue throughout the entire week. It's my first year doing it. It's my first year even knowing about it, so I kind of thought I'd just quit halfway through, which I did not. And then the third reason is because it's my first year, I decided I'd rather focus on the reading aspect instead of dealing with making videos and editing and uploading them, especially because I'm new at this. So, okay, now the books I read. Monday, the first day of the readathon, I picked up This Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. This book follows a girl named Belly, and every summer since she was little, her mom, herself, and her brother would go down to a beach house to be with her mother's best friend and her two boys for the summer. She's always found herself attracted to the two boys that go down there, and this year she is 15, so the two boys start to notice her as well as she is starting to grow up. I enjoyed this book quite a bit, a lot more than I thought I would. I've read one other book by Jenny Han, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, and this one was definitely right up there with it. On Tuesday, I did not read at all. I was busy for most of the day, and then for the rest of the day, I just decided to watch YouTube videos. In the early hours of Wednesday, I picked up It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han, and this is the second book in the summer trilogy. I really enjoyed this one as well. I liked being able to see more inside Conrad and Jeremiah's head. I think I did enjoy the first one a little bit better, but this was a great continuation, and I ended up finishing it that day as well. After I finished that, I immediately picked up We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han, and then I read it on to Thursday and finished it then. This is obviously the final book in the trilogy, and this one was definitely my favorite. I could not stop reading this at all. I was completely hooked. I was worried the entire time that it would not end the way I wanted it to, and this actually made me shed a few tears, so that's good. So after finishing these 3 books, I was able to complete the Start and Finish a Series challenge for the BookTubeAthon, so I got one challenge out of the way. On Friday, I picked up The Lightning Thief, which is the first book in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series following Percy Jackson. I'm sure most of you probably already know what this is about, but it's my first time reading it. I really enjoyed it. My one issue with this book was I kept forgetting that Percy was only 12 years old, so I kept making some really, really stupid decisions. But once I got past that, I really enjoyed it. It was a great adventure book. I'm excited to read the rest of the series and continue on with the spin-off. And this book completed the Book Recommended by a Friend challenge, as well as the Book to Movie Adaptation challenge. After that, I picked up Tuesdays with Maury by Mitch Albom. This is a memoir about the life of Maury Schwartz. I picked this up to complete 2 challenges. One, read a book with red on the cover, as well as read a book in the genre you have read the least of this year. I have not read any nonfiction this year, any memoirs. I avoid them if I have the chance, but I really sincerely loved this book. One thing I will say is I would like to read this book again when I'm not trying to rush it for the BookTubeAthon, because I think I would get more out of it. I finished Tuesdays with Maury on Saturday, and after I did, I picked up Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. This completed the Read a Book with Pictures in It challenge. This book follows a 15-year-old boy named Jacob. He goes off to this small remote island to learn more about his grandfather and the mysterious things that he was told as his grandfather was dying. This book is now one of my favorite books I have read this year. I did not expect it to turn out the way it did. I was expecting to read a scary novel, which I'm not into at all, but it wasn't like that at all. It was a great adventure book. It blew my mind, and it was wonderful. I definitely recommend it. I'm so excited to read Hollow City. I finished Miss Peregrine's on Sunday, which was the last day of the BookTubeAthon, and I completed every challenge except to read 7 books. So I picked up The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan, the second book in the Percy Jackson series. I really like this one as well. I can't really decide which one I like better, The Lightning Thief or The Sea of Monsters, but it was a really good continuation. Made me more excited to finish the series now, especially because Percy is getting a little bit older. So I ended up finishing The Sea of Monsters on Sunday, so I was able to read 7 entire books for the readathon, which I am super thrilled about because I did not think I would be able to accomplish that, especially with a day of completely not reading at all. But the very final thing that tied in with reading 7 books for the entire week was to read 2,100 pages, or an average of 300 pages a day. And I tallied up these books, how many pages there were, and I was about 50 pages short of reaching the 2,100 mark. So I picked up Bridge to Haven by Francine Rivers. I got 71 pages into it before midnight struck. I'm excited to actually delve more into this because every Francine Rivers book I have read, I have loved, but I will say it is pretty slow right now, but I've barely made a chunk into it, so that's not saying much. So these are all the books I read for this year's BookTubeAthon in total. I read 2,129 pages, so just above the goal for the week, which I'm super, super thrilled about because I did not think I would be able to do that at all. I love this BookTubeAthon because it allowed me to read books that I had, that I wanted to read, but weren't in top priority on my shelf, and I loved every single one of the books I read this week. So thank you guys for hosting the BookTubeAthon, and I hope everyone else had as successful a week as I did. I'll see you next time. Bye. This book is super short. It's just under 200 pages, but by the end of it, I